Hey guys, my name is Tito. I make videos on personal finance on my other channel. On this channel, I talk about other things. Like today when I'll be reviewing the new Nollywood film, Obara'm. Obara'm is a musical drama about Oluchi, a young woman who is suddenly saddled with the responsibility of taking care of her sister, Ihunanya. Their relationship is seriously tested because Oluchi is not ready to take care of someone's child. Obara'm stars Isime and Darasimi Nadi as Ihunanya, and it's directed by Kayode Kasum. Now, I'd personally been looking forward to this movie because it's been touted as a musical, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think we've seen any musicals in terms of film from Nollywood, at least not in a very long time. I've racked my brain and I can't even think of any. If you know of any musicals that we've had in Nollywood, please let me know what they are in the comment section below. But because of that fact, I was looking forward to this film, Obara'm. That said, let's talk about the performances in this movie. Isime. Nancy plays Oluchi, a headstrong, rebellious young woman who sings in a band, and she has money troubles too, right? And as far as her performance went, it was okay. I wasn't particularly moved by it, but it was sufficient, I guess. I did have a slight issue with the character though, because if I know anything about people who sing in live bands or people who just sing professionally, right, they really love music. They're either always talking about it or they're always singing everything. But I didn't really get that from Nancy's character. It didn't feel to me like the character really loved music or loved what she was doing. Darasimi Nadi. Now, Darasimi plays Ihunanya, a quick-witted, sharp-mouthed 10-year-old, and she did really well. Her performance was very convincing, and a lot of the story was on that character, or dependent on that character, I should say. And I hope she does really well going forward. I remember Kayode Kasum, the director of this film, saying on Instagram once that the kids in his movies tend to win awards. So I hope that Darasimi, continues the tradition and she wins an award for her performance in this film. She did a really good job, and she was very believable and likable as well. Nkem Owoh was also in the film as Humphrey, a character who is quite close to both Nancy Isime and Darasimi's characters. I can't give away too much, this is a spoiler-free review, but he was good, he was convincing, he was very much traditional or conventional Nkem Owoh, to be honest, but he was good. But the issue I had with the character was the fact that there was something going on with the character that I think they could have done a better job at, alluding to what was going on with that character. Secondly, he had a fight with another character in the film. I wish that fight was a bit more realistic, to be honest. In fact, I wish all the fights in this film were a bit more realistic. Deyemi Okalawon. Deyemi plays Fidelis, a character who has romantic ties with Nancy's character. And correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the first time, to my knowledge, that I'm seeing Deyemi in a Kayode Kasum film. I may be wrong, but I can't think of any other film that they've done together. Also, Deyemi has done quite a number of films with Nancy. Back in December, they were in Superstar together. A couple of months ago, they were in Blood Sisters together. Now, Obara'm. Anyway, Deyemi was okay. The performance was sufficient. It wasn't necessarily mind-blowing. I didn't have too many issues with the performance. What I had issues with was the character itself. But I think I'll save that till when I talk about the things I didn't like about this film. Bolanle Ninalowo, aka Nino B, he plays Onyeka, and I really enjoyed Bolanle's performances in films, I cannot lie. And the funny thing is that he didn't really do anything particularly different from what we're used to seeing him do. He plays, this built thug as usual, right? And I mean, I really enjoyed it. And funny enough, I think that the movie kind of really picked up when his character was introduced. Incidentally, he doesn't have that many scenes in the film, but when he was in the film, I felt like the tone changed for the better. Maybe it's because I really like and enjoy his performances, yeah. Now, the legendary Onyeka was also in this film, and the woman is a music legend in Nigeria, and I've never heard of her being in a film before. So when I heard she was going to be in a film and in a musical, no less, I was over the moon. I was expecting greatness. And yeah, I think I shouldn't have been I should have kept my expectations low. Because, let's talk about the acting first of all. Her acting, she's a musician, she doesn't act normally, so I don't think there was any reason for me to have expected really fantastic acting. Fair enough. But when you cast Onyeka in a musical, it's only natural that you expect music, and good music too, her being a music legend. But to be honest, the one song she sang, I think she only sang one song. I can't even remember how it goes. And I was watching and hoping to be blown away, like, oh man, this is going to be a hit. And it just never happened. So yeah, whether it was the acting or the singing in this film from Onyeka Onwenu, I left the cinema wondering why she was cast in the film. Now, honorable mention goes out to the social media sensation Sydney Talker. His character was also in the band that Nancy's character was in. The Cavemen, the musicians, the Cavemen were also in that band. To be honest, I was expecting a bit more from the Cavemen. And Bolaji Ogunmola was also in the film. The lovely Bolaji Ogunmola, who I met that evening at the premiere, by the way. Delightful woman. She's one of my favorite Nollywood actresses of the moment. And it was special to meet her that evening. What I liked. If I review a movie and Nancy Isime is in said movie, just know that the first thing I'm going to like about that movie is the fact that Nancy Isime is in it. The woman is beautiful. I thought I had it bad. On Saturday at the premiere, there was a guy like 2 or 3 rows behind me, and there were times when Nancy would appear on screen and this guy would make sounds. He'd be like, damn. And I was sitting there thinking like, and I thought I had a crush on Nancy. This guy is gone. But yeah, Nancy, it was great to see her in the movie. Secondly, I enjoyed Bolanle Ninalowo's performance. I like his acting and it feels so organic, feels so natural. I find him very amusing, so I enjoyed seeing him in the film. I also liked the fact that because this was a musical and I had no point of reference for that, at least with Nollywood, I didn't really know what to expect, and it was different, you know, by virtue of that. So I liked that, the fact that it was different and I didn't know what to expect. Finally, I really like the fact that I saw, and this has nothing to do with the movie itself, I like the fact that I saw lots of my friends at the premiere. It was really, really good to see some friends, old and new, at Saturday's premiere. What I didn't like. Now, for this first point, I may need to go and watch the film again to really absorb the music elements of the movie, but for now, I didn't like the fact that this film didn't really feel like a musical to me. It felt like a movie where they sang in it a couple of times. But that's just me, and I may have a change of, perspective once I see the movie a second time. The second thing I didn't like about this film is the fact that, for context, right, the happenings in this movie occur between Enugu and Lagos, and at a point in the film there's lots of alternating between scenes in Enugu and scenes in Lagos, and they happen rather suddenly at some point. For example, you see a character in a scene, and then in the very next scene you see the same character in Enugu, and then you'll be wondering, did they go by road, did they fly, how much time has passed? So that kind of took some context out of the story in those situations. And incidentally, they actually do shuttle between Enugu and Lagos quite a bit at one point in the film. So that wasn't properly put together, in my opinion. Another thing relating to the whole Enugu thing, even though the Enugu scenes were probably filmed in Ekpe or Ikorodu, right? I feel like it could have been more believable had they added like B-roll footage of, popular places in Enugu, which they could have maybe found on the internet or gotten from people who live in Enugu. They could have added that into the film to make us feel like those scenes were actually in Enugu. Product placement. Kuda Bank funded or sponsored this movie, kind of, or, did some product placement with them. And as somebody who wants to do business with Kuda Bank in the future, to do a couple of personal finance videos with them sometime soon, I will say that the product placement was fantastic. It was so well done. It was so tastefully done. There's a part where they show Falomar Bridge and they show Kuda Bank, a billboard of Kuda Bank there. Yeah, it was cool. Kuda Bank also is one of the sponsors or something, or partners for the Brotherhood, which is coming out towards the end of September, and it'll be interesting to see how they do their product placement, if at all, in that movie as well. Will it be creative and subtle, or will it be tacky and obvious? It remains to be seen. But kudos, Kuda Bank. Now, also, as someone who pays attention to details, particularly in movies, I felt like there were things that happened out of convenience in this film and things that weren't necessarily explained. For example, in the scene where Bolanle Ninalowo's character Emeka meets Darasimi's character Ihunanya, they meet for the first time and you're like, how did we get here? Because you know, it would have taken a lot for these two characters to have met themselves, but we just see the scene where they're together. So that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And incidentally, there are a few of those types of scenarios or situations in the film that just felt incredibly convenient, or that didn't like have a proper explanation behind how we got to those points. Lastly, and I'll try and keep this one brief because this was actually the elephant in the room on the day of, but hey, if I don't tell you about it, who will, right? There was an actor in this film that the barber that cut his hair or gave him a lineup and probably dyed his hair as well, that barber did the guy a serious injustice because the lineup wasn't lining up. And I know I'm not necessarily one to be talking about anybody's hairline, but man, it took away from the enjoyment of the film. And I'm sure lots of other men in the cinema were feeling very awkward because I know myself and the guy sitting next to me, we were looking at the screen like, what was the idea here with the guy's hair? It was very off, and that barber, he needs to have his license revoked. Who should see it? See Obara'm if you're a fan of Nancy Isime or Deyemi Okalawon or Bolanle Ninalowo. If you're a fan of any of those actors, I think you'll enjoy the movie. See Obara'm if you want to watch a film with lots of heart and soul. I don't think all of us will connect with the movie emotionally the same way, but I feel you will connect with, you know, some of the emotional elements of the film. Lots of people were oohing and eyeing. I heard one or two people cried in the cinema, but I didn't really have those strong emotional feelings as I watched the movie. Finally, see Obara'm if you want to know what a Nollywood musical drama film looks like. There aren't any points of reference that I can think of regarding that genre. So yeah, if you want to see what that looks like from Nollywood, then you want to see Obara'm in cinemas or on streaming, depending on when you're watching this review. In conclusion, I actually enjoyed Obara'm. Now, I know what some of you watching may be thinking. You're like, but Tito, that's not what you said in the DMs the other day. Forget about what I said in the DMs the other day. Listen to what I'm saying now. But seriously, I enjoyed Obara'm. It was a good film. With a bit more intentionality, maybe them dotting their I's, crossing their T's a bit, this could have been a Nollywood classic, in my opinion. But hey, who knows? It may still end up being a Nollywood classic. But what I hope we start seeing more of as a result of Obara'm is that I hope we start seeing more musicals out of Nollywood. You know, it would be really nice to see more of our actors and actresses, you know, singing and dancing in movies. It will open a whole new level of creativity, and it will give us more bang for our buck when we go to the cinemas or when we pay for our subscription on streaming platforms. I'd really love to see that. And you know who would be very good, you know, at making musicals out of Nollywood? Bolanle Austin Peters, because she has the material and the human resources to make loads of fantastic musicals. Anyway, fingers crossed. If you enjoyed this review, guys, please like it by clicking on the like button. You know where the like button is, it's just underneath the video, and subscribe to my channel as well by clicking on the red subscribe button. On this channel, I don't just do Nollywood movie reviews, I also talk about relationships. To check out some of my past content, you can click the card in the corner of the screen. Now, my most recent review was of another film that Nancy Isime is also in, The Setup 2. If you want to watch that after this video, I'll put it on the screen so you can click on that to check that out. Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been awesome. I hope you enjoyed it. I will see you in the next one. Take care.